Hi folks, it's Todd Dills here with the week's news from Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's been a difficult week all around the nation when it comes to natural disasters. Emergency declarations span the United States, and with them, limited relief for haulers of certain commodities from adherence to federal and state hours of service regulations. Good news is, those mudslides that closed I-70 in Colorado in recent weeks are almost cleaned away from the road. Colorado Department of Transportation said the portion of I-70 through Glenwood Canyon would partially reopen tomorrow afternoon, August 14th. Colorado crews have worked all around the clock to remove thousands of tons of debris that landed on the critical freight route following heavy rains July 31st. The DOT there expects at least one lane in each direction will be open to traffic by Saturday afternoon. Truckers are still cautioned to take I-80 through Wyoming or I-40 through New Mexico to avoid the closed section of I-70. Backups caused by the closure, meanwhile, have prompted a waiver of hours of service regulations for fuel and other haulers in some Colorado counties, including Garfield, Larimer, Eagle, Grand, Routt, Rio Blanco, and Pitkin. The declaration suspends regs for haulers of various fuels as well as medical supplies, sanitation, food, paper products, other groceries, and supplies or equipment necessary for community safety. The order is effective through September 3rd. Up in North Dakota, meanwhile, extreme drought conditions ongoing since April prompted Governor Doug Burgum to declare a state of emergency, suspending hours regs and weight restrictions for truck drivers transporting livestock, hay, and water supplies for livestock. The declaration waives 49 Code of Federal Regulations, Parts 390 through 399, along with North Dakota laws pertaining to width and height restrictions and fees. Under the order, state routes posted at 80,000 pounds are temporarily increased to 105,500 pounds, and routes normally restricted to 75 feet in length are temporarily increased to 95 feet in overall length. The order is effective through September 9. Colorado and North Dakota join a growing list of states with hours of service waivers in place due to emergency declarations, including Montana, Oregon, Idaho, California, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, South Dakota, Washington State, and Wyoming. A full list of emergency declarations can be found on the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's website. The California Trucking Association on Monday filed a petition to the United States Supreme Court in the association's continuing litigation against California's AB 5 contractor law. CTA CEO Sean Yaden maintains that there are more than 70,000 owner-operators in the state that could suffer irreparable damage if AB 5 is applied to the trucking industry, essentially outlawing traditional lease contracts between owner-operators and carriers. In April, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the problematic ABC contractor test within AB 5 should in fact apply to trucking, and the court then denied a request for a rehearing in June. While ongoing appeals work through the process, a stay of enforcement of the contractor law in California will remain in place, leaving truckers in something of a waiting game, Yaden said, with a lot at stake. Get over to overdriveonline.com to find an in-depth discussion of the issues from Birmingham, Alabama, where Yaden was joined by transportation attorney Greg Feary to discuss how the Supreme Court case might play out, and why carriers all around the nation should care about it. The U.S. Senate on Tuesday passed its version of a $1 trillion infrastructure funding package that provides $550 billion in new monies. The passage of the bipartisan legislation, which was approved in a 69-30 vote, follows weeks of debate in the Senate. The bill will now move to the U.S. House, where Democrats in control there await Senate passage of a proposed $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation plan to address so-called human infrastructure, from climate change initiatives to child care and more, before passing the highways legislation. The Senate bill includes several provisions related to trucking, including a mandate for automatic emergency braking systems on trucks, a requirement for an under-21 truck driver apprenticeship pilot program, and more. It does not, however, include an increase to carriers' liability insurance minimum requirements from $750,000 to $2 million, which is in the infrastructure bill previously passed by the House but not taken up by the Senate. The Senate bill also does not include funding specifically earmarked for expanding truck parking capacity, despite a proposed amendment from Senators Mark Kelly of Arizona and Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming. The amendment never saw a vote. Should the House also pass the infrastructure bill, FTR Chairman and CEO Eric Stark said he doesn't expect any short-term benefit from spending on infrastructure, noting that most of the impact won't be felt until mid and late 2022. President Joe Biden called for strengthening emissions regulations in an executive order issued Thursday, August 5th. The order asked EPA to develop tighter standards for 2027 and later model year light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles. For medium and heavy-duty trucks specifically, Biden asked the EPA to establish new greenhouse gas emission standards for heavy-duty engines and vehicles to begin as soon as model year 2030, along with new fuel efficiency standards for the same model year. Biden requests that EPA have a rulemaking with new greenhouse gas emission standards finalized no later than July 2024. The order also requests that the EPA begin working on a rulemaking under the Clean Air Act to establish new nitrogen oxides standards for heavy-duty engines and vehicles beginning with model year 2027 and extending through and including at least model year 2030. This includes the EPA potentially updating the existing greenhouse gas emissions standards for heavy-duty trucks. The order also calls for similar updated regulations for passenger cars and light-duty trucks.